I wanted to talk about this just because all the storylines that came out of this game and, the chaos. The chaos, because I actually got to catch a lot of this game in the last 5 minutes of the game. The Bears and the Bengals, this game was mind-boggling. I had to be totally honest. This game, it was literally pretty much what defense wants to play worse today. Chicago was horrible, couldn't stop cold. And Cincinnati, they're atrocious. How bad does this look for the Bengals organization by losing this game yesterday? To give a little context, Joe Flacco had a sprained AC joint this week, and he threw for 470 yards. He almost threw for, in Colin Cowherd's words that he stated earlier before I started the show, I was watching a little bit of the herd. He was like, yeah, he threw for almost 5 football fields. And T. Higgins went crazy. They were able to run the ball. The Bengals came back. They got an onside kick, even after the fact of, they were down two scores. And when Flacco threw that interception, it felt like the game was over, and they was able to storm back. They got ahead. Flacco led them down the field. And the blunder at the end of the game. Caleb Williams had one timeout with 50 seconds left. And you had to go the length of the field. So, instead of only giving up a field goal, you gave up a touchdown. And it was roughly on 3 plays, if I remember correctly. Caleb Williams scrambles. He gets roughly 20 yards, 20 yards, and he calls timeout, and that's their last timeout. So there's roughly 20, 30 seconds left in the game, no timeouts. They're not even in field goal range yet. And I put Loveland in the graphic because Loveland was making plays yesterday. The Bengals, Caleb Williams threw a simple seam route. And Loveland bounces off roughly 2 or 3 Bengals defenders and hits his head on the goalpost. In prevent coverage, pretty much. I mean, they weren't playing full prevent, but they were playing to not allow a touchdown. They were wanting to keep everything in front of them. And Colston Loveland was able to go hit his head on the goalpost. It was just pretty bad. The Bears tried their best to lose, but the Bengals defense just couldn't help themselves. And I wanted to really talk about this more, and I'll bring up one appalling stat. The Bengals are the first team since the 1960s to score 38-plus points in back-to-back games. Last week against the Jets and this week against the Bears, and they lost both of them. This felt like a classic Dallas Cowboys stat. This is why I wanted to talk about this game. And another reason I want to talk about this game as well, because there was audio and video of Jamar Chase walking back to the locker room after the loss, and it was like he said one bleeping stop. He said the F word. Family-friendly show, and I don't even cuss myself, so I definitely ain't going to pronounce what he said. And then, on top of that, Chase Brown had a lot to say at the end of the locker room. I'm about to pull up what he said, but Jamar Chase, he was asked about it, and he was like, I'm going to stay in my lane. I don't want no defensive players chew me out about what the world I'm doing. He said the F word. But I'm gonna read to you what Chase Brown roughly said. And he pretty much put the defense on blast. He, and I quote, said, all the great reporters down there in Cincinnati, thank you for your great reporting. This was on Twitter. Finish the bleeping game. Just end it. Just end the bleeping game. That was his quote. And another guy here, he covers the Cincinnati Bengals for ESPN. And Chase Brown, he said Chase Brown has had it with the Bengals defense. He said, what the F? Finish the bleeping game. Yeah. This is something, and this is a big deal. You never see this from a locker room. Ever. as much as bad as the Dallas Cowboys have been defensively, and I know the defense wants to chew them out so bad, you just don't see this. These are the things that you keep in house. But this is, again, the reason why this is a bad look for the Bengals organization. This kind of extends beyond just this. I thought about this and this idea because I wanted to tell you guys a story. I'm trying to get better at my storytelling because I saw a little article of Colin Cowherd, the great Colin Cowherd. You know, just got an award for being in the Radio Hall of Fame in Chicago. But he said it's all about telling stories. So I'm trying to get better at telling stories. And when I plan my show, it's kind of like, okay, how am I going to entertain? How am I going to tell a story? Everybody's got a take. How am I going to tell a story? So when I thought about this topic, this is how bad the Bengals organization is. It extends beyond this. What have they done everything wrong? You haven't been able to protect Joe Burrow. We discussed it roughly in the first episodes we made in the Jay Show going into week 1 or week 2 was it when Joe Burrow got hurt. Joe Burrow has been hurt 4 out of the 5 seasons he's been playing under quarterback. He's had 1 full healthy season, and that was last year. They've mismanaged the whole Jamar Chase and T. Higgins thing. It took them forever to give them a contract. They are now having a contract dispute with Trey Hendrickson, and he's probably more than likely going to get traded. We just got word today, Diana Rossini and Athletic, they're wanting a first-round pick. I think they're probably going to get it. Haven't been able to re-sign him. They got rid of their defensive coordinator. The guy took them to a Super Bowl, and he's down there with the Colts defense and making them look phenomenal. This has always been about the front office. We saw in the things that went on in the offseason with their first-round draft pick. I think is it Shamar something James? Whatever the fella's name is. He was the edge rusher drafted out of Texas A&M. You had that whole stint going on with him where he was the first rookie to go that long without signing his contract. And he went into the season late, and he wasn't 100% ready to go. He didn't participate in rookie minicamp or nothing, if I remember 100% correctly. So this problem with the Bengals extend beyond just what happened yesterday and Chase Brown's comments. They are lacking leadership across the board. I don't want to really 100% blame Zach Taylor. He's got something to do with it. But I think this goes from the top. Because they have really mismanaged this team with Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase for a very long time. It's no excuse where you have Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Trey Hendrickson. You got all this talent. You've let all this talent walk because you've not been able to manage and do a great job managing the team. I mean, the Bengals have had good players. And it's really, honestly, no excuse for that defense to be that bad. And for Chase Brown, after the game yesterday, to do what he did, calling his team out like that, that's just a bad look for the organization. It really is. What team do you see? All the successful franchises over the years, for being the Cowboys, Patriots, Steelers, Chiefs, Bills, you've never seen this before. You've never seen an offensive player literally call out a defense like, bruh, do your job. Like, what are we doing? It's always been like, you know what? Chase Brown in that situation with any other organization, he's like, you know what? We didn't make plays. We turned the ball over in situations like this. It's not a defense's fault. We got to do our job better. To a degree, I appreciate, just the honesty. But there's a time and a place for certain comments, Chase Brown, and that wasn't the time and the place. The same thing for Jamar Chase. I know what Jamar Chase is thinking, but Jamar Chase actually wanted to wait and say it behind the scenes. Now, he kind of got caught in 4K going to the locker room saying one bleeping stop, So he kind of, not in front of the media with nobody looking. I know he probably didn't know the reporter was there waiting on him to record him, but he accidentally done what he did. But Chase Brown just openly was like, you know what? The defense freaking sucks. They suck. That's just not a good look for your team. And it's just an indictment against the Bengals because that was an all-time embarrassment. Absolutely embarrassing. There's no reason for Colston Loveland to have caught the football and scored from where he caught the ball and ran to. It's inexcusable. Embarrassingly bad. Don't know who the defense coordinator is? He could have been fired. Zach Taylor kind of deserved to get fired just for what happened. That was just embarrassing yesterday. To come from doing what you did to come back and then lose the way you did, it's just embarrassing. Just can't happen. That's from the Bengals point of view. Now the Bears, they're kind of finding their footing. They got cute yesterday with all the trick plays. Caleb Williams, no interceptions, 3 for 3 touchdowns. Ran the ball pretty well. But the defense is atrocious still. Joe Flacco threw for 5 football fields almost. I mean, T. Higgins was absolutely having a day. He just done whatever he wanted to do. And it was kind of, I know Colin Cowherd was talking about it. He's pretty high on the Bears. I'm not. I think offensively they're good, but defensively, if they do not turn the ball over, they get had. I mean, they get beat. If they're not turning the ball over defensively, they're toast. So that was my pretty much, I want to keep this portion of the pod short because, I didn't get to watch the entirety of this game. I watched some of it, but just coming away from the game, I was just sitting there like, dude, there's no way the Bengals lost that game. And now, after losing it, you find yourself 3-6. Trade deadlines tomorrow. No point in bringing Trey Henderson back. I really don't. I'd trade him, get some picks. I'd come off some more players too. I just think the Bengals all around have just did a horrible job managing the franchise, and that comes for the top.